Warning, disclaimer. The content provided on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. All demonstration, tutorials, and examples are intended to promote ethical practices, responsible programming, and cybersecurity awareness. Any misuse of the information shown in these videos is strictly prohibited. We do not support or encourage any illegal activities, unauthorized system access, or malicious behavior. Always ensure you have explicit permission before testing or probing any system or network. Viewer discretion is advised, and you are solely responsible for how you use this information. By viewing this content, you agree to comply with all applicable laws and terms of service. What's up? All right. Packet by packet, bit by bit. This is Nuxology. Today, I think we need to examine SYN attacks. And the best way to examine it is by doing it, right? So let's gear up. And I'm going to be using Visual Studio. And I'm thinking let's go like outside the norm and do like VB Basic, right? So let's get started. And while this is firing up, got to talk about the rules around this, right? It's cool to do it in your lab. It's cool to do it with stuff that you own. But I'm telling you, you go outside of that and you start doing this to like corporations, to like other governments, things of that nature, you're going to be in big trouble. So let's create a new project. And I think we need to do, oh, there it is. Awesome. I thought I didn't have it installed. I want Windows. And I think we need to do a fancy Windows form, right? And if you're not quite familiar with what we're going to be doing, so we're going to be like going down deep inside of the bowels of communications, right? So there is a protocol called TCP, right? And with TCP, there are certain things that need to occur before communications can happen, right? It's like a good old-fashioned song and dance. If these things don't happen, we're not going to be talking. So it's called like a three-way handshake, So we have the sender and we have the receiver. The sender is going to send an initial packet, says, hey, I want to start conversations with you. And then the receiver is going to accept that initial packet, that synchronization, right? And it says, oh, cool, hey, you want to talk? I'm going to acknowledge that, right? I'm going to acknowledge that you want to talk with me. And then it's going to send that ACK to the original sender. And then the original sender is going to act that, right? Say, cool, all right, bro, we can like really start talking. And that's like considered the three-way handshake with the TCP protocol. And that's the norm of how things are supposed to happen in starting that conversation. Well, what happens if you go outside that norm? Right? So what happens if the sender just starts sending SYNs, right? Hey, I want to talk, right? And this guy, right, he's going to try to fulfill the rest of that, right? But this guy's just going to start ignoring anything that's coming from this dude. And this guy is just going to keep sending different SYNs, right? So eventually, this guy's going to run out of resources. And that's just a real basic attack vector that can be used to exhaust the buffers within system, right? Like with normal operations of TCP. Well, there are products in place that are supposed to stop that, right? IPS, right? An IPS, intrusion prevention system, is supposed to recognize that denial of service type and should be sitting right in the middle. And if the bad guy, right, and it sees the bad guy going to try to do a basic SYN attack, it's supposed to drop that packet. So this guy won't receive, those attempts, or those SYNs attempts, right? So there's products in place that are supposed to help us. Well, how do we test it? Right? How do we know that the thing that we put in is supposed to protect us is actually protecting us? Well, we could wait for an attack, but we could also, I don't know, maybe devise one ourselves, right? And this is what kind of got me thinking, we got all these tools out here, but what if we just made our own, right? Made it the way that we want it to function. So let's get on with that, right? So I'm just going to name this thing TCP SYN. How's that? Yeah. I'm going to put SYN up in front. Cool. All right. What do we got here? No, I don't want to use no Copilot. Where's my forms? Alright, we're still loading. Awesome. All right. So I'm thinking that we're going to need a couple of text boxes. We're probably going to need a combo box that lists the interfaces. There may be a button or two. So let's get at it, right? Well, maybe. This thing ever wakes up. All right, here we go. Combo box. All right, I'm going to drag this combo box here. Where's my properties? I want to name this. Where did you go? Something awesome. Combo box. Some bitch. Combo box devices. Cool. All right. So we're going to need a couple text boxes. That's a pretty cool text box. And I want this text box source IP. Yeah. All right, shorthand. There we go. Let's type it, right? Source IP. All right, let's get another text box. All right. And we need text destination IP. Yeah, we do. Yep. Dest IP. And we are going to need a port. That is for sure. All right. So this would be something like that. I need to put a hint in there. Dest port. All right. So dest port. Dest IP, source IP, and this should be like a combo box devices, right? Combo box devices, yeah, awesome. All right, cool. We're also going to need a button, right? And let's come up here. Let's find a button, and I don't know, what should we call this button? I think we need to call this button. Where is that? BTN SYN. There we go. Oh, need to name it. Or add text to it, right? Let's do something like send. Cool. All right. Okay. We need to use or get some packages with NuGet. Is that where it is? Yep. All right. And we're going to be using packet.net to construct the actual packet that we're going to be used to send, and then sharp PCAP. Normally what we're going to be doing, or let me rephrase that, what we're doing would normally be done lower in the stack, right, with lower level languages like C. But since we're using a higher level language, those higher level languages like VB abstract that lower level complexity. Well, we've got to get to that lower level complexity to do what we want to do. So the packet.net and the sharp PCAP allows us to stay in the high level realm and still access the low level parameters that we need to fiddle with, right? Those nerd knobs. So let's start with packet.net. And what do we have? All right. Let's pull this down. Yeah, apply, okay, sure. Looks like it installed. And then I want sharp PCAP. No. All right. That looks like what I want. Let's get that installed. Yeah. Do it. All right. Let's go back. And I think we got those packages. Let's get at it, right? Let's get into some coding. Okay, so we need to do some imports. All right, and we're importing packet.net. That's cool. It sees it. All right, we're going to be using sharp pcap. Imports, we're going to be playing with the NIC. So let's bring in the .NET. And even a little bit more. So we'll save our typing. What is that? Network information. Cool. All right. Let's do this. Let's create a private capture device. Right. And let's actually do some commenting. And then we want a private random gen, and that's going to be for our source port. New random. I could only type. I don't know. It might change. Right. So, in our form load, what do we need to load? Well, we need to get our NICs, don't we? I'm going to shove that into the combo box. So let's do something like this. Let's be safe. So we're going to wrap it in a try, a dim, devices equals capture device list, and we need the instance. Cool. If device, no, I don't like that. Devices count. Then what are we doing? I want to say something here to the effect of, holy cow, something went wrong. I don't know. Subject to change, right? And let's just bail out. Like really bail, like just eject. I think we need to go through. Device in devices, we want to add it to our combo box devices, and then items add, and what are we adding? Let's add the description, right? And then, all right, so we iterate our devices, we shove them into the combo box. I think we need to test, so let's do something like this. You know, let's do it like this. Ah, come on. I gotta slow down. Let's just do auto select, right? Let's be lazy. And we're selecting the first one in our list. All right. Let's get into our catch. Let's do something like this. We're going to do perfect. All right. Cool. All right. So we get devices. We see how many devices we have. We're going to list all of them, shove them into a combo box, and then do some auto selection, and we got it wrapped into a nice catch try statement. Cool. All right, so I'm thinking that let's work on our SYN, right? So what I'm envisioning is that we tell it the source, right? IP, where is it going, in the destination port, and then we hit send, right? And it's within SYN that does all of the magic stuff. So let's go back here. Let's get into that code block. And let's do something like this. Let's be safe. Devices equals. I don't know why I am having difficulties today. Capture device list. All right. Capture device equals devices. And we're grabbing the combo box. Oh, there you are. Combo box, devices, and we want the selected index. There you are. So awesome. All right, so we need to open you. Something like that, I think. And we do, oh shoot. Okay, come on, stop. Come on, don't make me type the whole thing. that open. Then I say we send crafted right, and we go to a sub, right? We should do a method. What should we call that? SYN packet, right? Yeah, all right. So we'll make that, and let's just do something like this. We can change that later. All right, we gotta make that. So let's come down here and let's do private sub. What do we call it? SYN packet. We hit the send button. It gets the device. It opens the device. We go into this routine, and that routine does what? Well, I think we need it to actually craft and send, right? So let's do this. We need source IP, and that is equal to IP address, right? Because we got to parse text, and that text is coming from that. Did I spell that right? There we are. And text. We come down here. We do dim dest IP. And it is text dest IP, right? And it is text dim. We need the source port. And we're going to randomly generate that. And I want that to be in the range of 1024 to let's do 65535. And it will do one below that, right? So the max be 65534, which is cool. It gives us a lot of opportunities. I just didn't want to go above. And then we need the destination port, and that is an integer. We need to parse that. And I think it's something like that. Cool. And then we need to build the actual Ethernet frame. Right? How does that go? Ethernet. We're going to do a new Ethernet packet. It is capture device, the MAC address, and then the physical address we need to parse. And for right now, it's going to be just sudo, because we're going to have to grab that. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That don't look right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That looks a little better. Add the Ethernet type, is we're going to be sending an IPv4, right? Cool. And then we're going to be building the IPv4 packet. And I want to do dim IP as new IPv4. There you are, for packet. Give me the source IP, and I need the destination IP. And I'm going to do a time to live. Even though it's in my lab, let's do 128. Yeah. So this will get decremented every time it crosses the L3 boundary like a router, right? So it doesn't need to be this big for a lab, but what the hell? We need to build the TCP SYN packet, right? The part that y'all have been waiting for. New TCP. What is that? Should be like TCP packet. There you are. There you are, source port. And then we have the destination port, because we're at what layer? Right? Good job. Layer 4 transport. Is that right? Yeah, that looks right. Synchronize, right? True, we're setting that flag, right? And then we're doing, oh no, come on. Sequence number. We got to convert. And I want to use random gen integer max value max. Ooh, that, well, you know, that might blow things up, but what the hell, we live dangerously sometimes, right? Alright, so let's set the window size. It don't really matter, but let's request that. Encapsulation and update checksum. All right. So we got the Ethernet frame. We've got the packet, And then we've just created the TCP, and now we need to encapsulate it, calculate the checksum. So payload, first packet, payload packet is the TCP, and then the TCP, we need to update the checksum, Ethernet, okay, come on, Ethernet, payload, right there, staring me in the face. That equals that. And then we need to update the IP checksum. Right? Looks like we've got it encapsulated. We've got the checksums updating. So hopefully it's a valid packet. Capture device to inject. Woo! All right, we are making headway. No, I don't want to navigate. F off. All right. I need some go juice. Excuse me. Oh yeah. Okay, we got it. Inject. All right, to try to cast that. Capture device. That should be the injection device. Is not nothing, right? Injector, send packet, and what are we sending? Yeah, our goodness. So we can learn how the bad guys do stuff, right? And if we run into a problem, we need to know about that. All right. Whew. What else we got? I think that's just about it, really. Let's do some cleanup. There's a couple things that I think we should do. Where are they? Where's my events? Let's go to the events. Let's go into form closing. And in the form closing, let's drop that into a try catch. And I want to do a capture device. Just kind of close you Nice, right? Nicey nice. Let's save this, right? So we got this saved. There's one caveat. So if I were to try to do this now, I don't have the correct permissions to send. So let's do a couple things. So I think we need to find my target. Once I find the target, I need to update the physical address. Now I'm on the same LAN as my target. So that means I can just do the raw MAC address that's associated with this IP address. I'm not crossing any L3 boundaries. Now, if I were to cross L3 boundaries, I would need to adjust this accordingly for the gateway. All right. So basic L2, L3 communication stuff that we would have to keep in mind. Did I mention that I want to do Wireshark? So, all right, let's get at it. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to open it again, see if I can't do it with admin. All right. So that's done. And I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to send a couple pings to ensure that my local ARP table is populated, and then I will show you the rest. So hang tight. All right, so I'm going to ping the target, and it's my WLC for now. So 1069.0.5. All right, so I'm going to ping that. Boom, cool. I believe it is. It's either like ARP-A. I think it's ARP-A. Yes. All right. So, like I mentioned, I am on that same LAN, so I can just do the raw MAC address. I'm going to copy my MAC. Come back to my statement here. Remember, formatting counts, right? Spelling counts. So this is how it wants it. And I need to bring up Wireshark. I said it was. And what do we got? Cool. All right. And holy crap, this thing's noisy right out of the box. Cool. All right. So let's look at this real quick. Come on. Cool. All right. So we got source IP, which I need to grab. We could automatically grab it, but I'll let you guys improve this, right? Destination IP, destination port. We could have added one for the MAC address. I think that's a great exercise for you guys. We got our combo box. We got our send. The magic happens in the send button, so let's take a look. Cool. We're getting what's selected in our combo box. We try to open the device. We go into our send packet routine here. source IP, dest IP, source port, dest port. We're parsing, cool. Source port, random, cool, in between 1024, 655, 4. Remember, it's one less. We got our dest port. We may need to modify that. The reason why, because we're parsing this text into an integer, and I forget, it'd be something to look up what the port is. I don't know if it's like 16 bits, 32 bits, I forget. But in any case, just something to keep in the back of your mind. We're building an Ethernet frame. This is like the cool part, right? Where only the cool kids sit. You know, that cafeteria table where just the freaking cool kids sit. So we're oh yeah, this is like really cool. I'm really excited. All right, so we got the MAC address, right? Me, cool. We're parsing the physical, all right? That's the destination part. Our type is IPv4. We're building our IPv4 packet, right? We got our source, we're at our dest. We're setting our time to live. You know, since this is like in the lab, same, you know, L2, we could like jack that down to like a really low number. We're not crossing any L3 boundaries, but whatever's. We're creating our TCP packet, right? Our source port, our dest port. We're setting the synchronized flag. We're generating our sequence numbers. We're setting our fat window size. We are starting to encapsulate, right? That's cool. Our Ethernet frame contains the payload of the IP. IP contains like TCP. Cool, we're updating checksums. We're casting our types. We created an injector. If our injector pans out, we send it, we write it to the wire. Boom! Oh, all right, so we've got this running as an admin. We've got our PCAP going. And we run. Right. Now, as this is compiling and building and doing all this cool stuff behind the scenes, we could have done this in C# by all means. If you're really adventurous, you know, we could have dumped it down into like old school C, right? C++. But I thought it would be like really cool to go up into the higher levels where all of this complexities are abstracted and then just pick out what we want, right? Cool. So we've got our form loaded. It did not error out. We did not see any errors, which is like really cool. Ethernet adapter. Cool. Awesome. All right, so let me do one thing. All right, this kind of annoys me a little. So I'm going to stop, come back to our designer, maybe highlight them all, maybe. Cool. I'm going to drop that down just a tad. All right, I'm going to make this a little bit longer. Paint a nice little happy cloud. You know, if you're a Bob Ross fan. Run this again. Awesome, it picked up our adapter. That's cool. All right, so what is my IP? I don't know. IP config. Who am I? Come back here. Oh, nope, come back here. That is me. Where am I going? I don't know. Okay, that came to 10, 5, and I say we look at 443 on that controller. 443 should be running. I'm going to open our Wireshark, I'm going to do a display filter, something like IPADDR equals come on. All right, what don't you like? Stop. Didn't have space. All right, 6905. Boom. Okay, so what I expect is that we're going to craft a TCP SYN packet. The SYN packet is going to be sourced from .139. It's going to go to 0.5, right? 0.5 is going to act that initial SYN, right? But just a second. I'm going to hit send. Boom. It got sent. Oh, ooh, you see that? You see that? That line right there, right? Source, dest, right? Comes back, send ACK. Ooh, that's cool, right? See that? I see that. Okay. Now we could have probably done a loop. Oh, do I remember how to do a loop in VB for I as integer equals 0 to 100? And I am going to come into here. Do we have any other rogue message boxes? No. All right, so let's just comment out and run it again. Is it still in my buffer? Nope. I think that's me. We are going to 1069.05. And we're going to knock on the door of 443. All right. That's cool. That is cool. So let's zoom all the way up. So, come on and knock on my door. Let's refresh, clear out that screen, hit send. So we sent our packet. Source port 41543, right? The next one, source port a 16380, right? And we see that. Boom, we sent 3 just immediately, and that returned and says, yes, SYN ACK, right? Oh, look at that beautiful stuff. Look at that beautiful stuff. And then timers start timing out. This guy says, well, do you really want to talk? Start sending the SYN ACKs, right? I just think this is really cool. All right. So I wonder, well, I still got your attention. What happens, right? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, probably take a distributed amount of machines. Oh, that's cool. It reused a port. Oh, wow. Look at that. Awesome. All right. So, I think now we have something to test, like a firewall or an IPS sensor, just to see if this triggers those thresholds. Or if you look at my earlier video on how to construct an IDS with Python, you could use this, right, and develop your own IDS based upon this tool set, right? I just think it's really cool. Well, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to see something else, drop it in the chat, man. Don't forget to hit the like and, dude, subscribe, because this is only the beginning, right? We've developed a tool in our tool belt that can test IPS sensors, right? I mean, this is the SYN flood, right? I mean, we're sending SYN, right? We don't see our box sending, ACKs back to the SYN ACK of the box, right? Of that destination box. So just like, how cool. Well, until next time. And one tidbit, since you made it this far, one tidbit. If you do see resets, if you were using Wireshark to kind of sniff the wire, if you do see resets from your box, check to see if you're running any security on your machine, right? Maybe a firewall or something. But have fun. Always learn. But remember one thing, man. This right here, what I showed you, can get you in trouble. So, use this only for good, never for bad, and only test on boxes that you can legally test on, right? Like in your home lab. And if you were to look at this and bring it into a corporate world, make sure that you get everybody to sign off before you hit the send button, right? Because, dude, I don't want you to get fired. That ain't cool. Anyways, man, have fun, enjoy. Until next time.